Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ashutosh Gupt. Welcome to the webinar for Cloud Security Monitoring and Analytics. Uh, and please post your questions into the Q&A box. And don't forget about it. And then we can start and answer your questions at the end once we will finish the webinar. With that, let me start my slides. Hold on for a minute. So as the topic says, today's webinar about Sumo Logic's cloud security and analytics and monitoring. If you know about Sumo Logic is a continuous intelligence platform which provides you to ingest the data from multiple location, your logs, your metrics, your firewalls, and most of the unstructured, structured, or semi-structured data. With that, once it collects, analyze, and you can monitor, visualize, and it puts a lot of metadata tags to it, and then you can use it for multiple use cases. Now, use cases can be either your operational analytics use cases, your security intelligence, your business intelligence, and the global intelligence. The personas for this can be multiple. So you can use it for multiple requirements. For this particular use case, we are talking about the security analytics, so security monitoring and analytics purpose itself. Now, if you talk about the different kind of sources from where you can ingest the data is from multiple applications, your SaaS based, your IT, or any kind of multi cloud. So it's not limited to any particular cloud or in premises. So though Sumo Logic is a cloud based SaaS offering, you can ingest the data from any of the sources, whether it's on premises, your private cloud, public cloud, your VMs, etc. So once you ingest it, of course, there's a lot of enrichment happens, and based on the specific capability like security analytics and monitoring, you can get a lot of insight about you, like threat intelligence. We'll talk about it in the later discussion and the demo itself. What all you can get it from this Sumo Logic platform as such. Now, if you talk about the next one, there are multiple solutions which we offer from our security platform itself. The audit and compliance will be the basic, where you can quickly analyze, see what are the different out of the box report. It's very easy and to ingest and then search a lot of things from Sumo Logic platform itself. The platform itself is secure. We'll talk about the certification later. We have certified in most of the industry-based certification like HIPAA, GDPR, etc. And most importantly, this data which has been sent over to Sumo Logic, it's also very much secure. So there's no as such issue in terms of how we are sending the data to Sumo Logic and how it is being utilized, right? So it's all under your control. And if you talk about the security analytics, where you can have a lot of enrichment and visualization is done. We have an integration with the threat intelligence out of the box, which can give you quick value in understanding how your data is, whether it's a domain URL, or data threat based on any email. Those kind of out of the box threat intelligence will be provided with our integration with the threat intelligence platform like CrowdStrike. Now, if I talk about the cloud SIEM, which is a more advanced topic, we'll see tomorrow in the next webinar if you have already registered for it, which is more secure, which talk about the alert reaction, right? You talk about the insight from how you move from a signal to less number of insight based on a MITRE effect. MITRE attack framework, and then how better you can do the automated or an autonomous way of doing the SIEM. If I talk about the challenges which generally you see in the cloud security environment, or a SOC kind of environment, it's first and foremost is the complexity, right? Where generally it is the learning curve, or getting to understand and getting it deployed itself is a time-taking job in most of the product out in the market. When you're talking about support, now because Sumo is born out of the cloud, we are based. It's a purely a SaaS platform. There's no problem in terms of scaling up or scaling down, because you don't have to worry about the provisioning part of it, right? Then you're talking about the cloud readiness, how easy the compliances are out of the box available. The reports, the certification, attestation itself, it's there, as we talked about. With the cost, which is of course a major factor when you're talking about in this such platform. This licenses, the way we give you the credit based offering, is much easier to manage, much easier to understand that what needs to be consumed, how it is being managed by you at different times. So pretty much couple of challenges which industry faces in this terms of SOC analytics, or a SIM kind of a tool, which is very well covered and managed by most of the things covered by Sumo Logic as a platform. Now, if we talk about security analytics specifically, which is the topic of today, security, we have most of the threat intelligence global view, which I talked about. We have integrations like a CrowdStrike for threat intelligence, and the out of the box content available for most of the SaaS platform, the SaaS vendor, like Office 365 or G Suite or a Google Workspace, we should call it. A lot of out of the box connectors and integrations available. We have around 400 plus integration for most of the known security plus other monitoring vendors, right? So it's not only because it's a platform, you have a lot of integrations with most of the use cases, from operational as well as security analytics stuff. So now talking about the way of detecting things, or we talked about, I'll show you in the demo as well. The machine learning, or the analytics which works in the background is there's something called an outlier functionality, which is not dependent on static thresholds, right? So you set the threshold, it process some particular point, and then you get an alert. The machine learns the behavior, machine learns the things, how your platform is getting, say, unauthorized access, or the number of authenticated attempts or unauthenticated attempts. So machine learns over a period of time, and then detect and send you this something like a pink triangle, which you see in the left bottom of the screen, where the outliers are being come up and show that there's some abnormal behavior is happening. On the right side, if you see, again, it's talking about a lot of out of the box content. And we have 200 plus application in our app catalog, which is managed by Sumo Logic, built by Sumo Logic, and it's completely up to you how much you use. It's not chargeable as such, so you can use it as per your pace, and it can be used for various purpose, like something like CloudTrail from AWS. We have 50 plus integration on this app available only for security analytics use cases. And these are a bunch of dashboards, alerts, query, which are out of the box from these apps. Now, let me go to the next one, and which is talking about the experience and the advantage. It's again similar to what we have talked about in the challenges. How better you can manage, how extensible the platform is, how easy you can manage and get up to the speed when you just deploy the solution. For the companies who are looking for initially to build a security analytics platform, or just starting a SIM or a SOC solution into their environment, the time to value, the time to get into the systems are much faster compared to the platform, which are, it takes time. It's a learning curve is more. The ready to use content with the app catalog, and a lot of certifications are already built in, and the reports and the dashboards are already built in, so you don't have to worry about how things are being managed, or how things can be easily give you the value from the platform which you're going to use. Now, if I talk about, just give me a second, and what I'll do is, let me put it in this way. Okay. Yep. If I'll go to the deep security and insight, is again extension of what I was just explaining. The anomaly detection, how better and how faster you can detect the things in a more faster way, and which reduces your false positive, which are more real time and accurate. How the deep search will happen, I'll show you all this in our demonstration. And then how the integration with threat intelligence will work, and give you much more deeper insight about what is going on into your environment. User, as I talked about, we have a lot of operators like log reduce and log compare, which will give you quick value to understand that how the machine learning and data analytics works on the background, to give you much faster value to do the troubleshooting, get into the identifying the anomalies and the bad behavior immediately, and get you the into the right place, and get the you're reducing your mean time to identify any kind of anomalies or issues faster. We talked about it, so I'll just skip this slide, which is more about how well we are integrated. But to give you just a bit, we have 200 plus or maybe more out of the box application and integration, which can be readily used by you. Then we talk about compliance readiness. We'll already talk about it. These are all out of the box app, which is available, which you can quickly deploy after you ingest the data into Sumo Logic. And then this can be much faster, give you much faster time to value, right? And then we have talked about it. This platform is already secured, and we already have a lot of certification, which are very important at these times. The PCI DSS, SOC 2, you talk about HIPAA or GDPR. One which is very important is the FedRAMP certification, which is very few organizations in the world have, and which is very important also for some of the financial organizations. There are two certification, two main point here to understand is your data when you send it to Sumo Logic in transit, is as well as once it is there into Sumo Logic. Both are very well encrypted. We used high standard TLS SSL based encryption in transit data, and we use AES 256-bit encryption for the data at rest. So, and these keys are regularly moved. So there's no such issue in terms of understanding and knowing that your data is much more secure, and it's kept for your usage most of the time, and it's all under your control, and there's no any type of compromise in terms of how database is being utilized and been transferred to Sumo. Now with that, let me have a look into the questions if I have any, or if it is not, let me just give you the quick demonstration here. Okay, I just will give you one more time that if you have any questions, please post it into the Q&A box, so that we'll be taking at the end of the presentation. Okay, so with that, let me go to the demonstration, and let me go to this slide. So if you see this this slide is basically talking about the collection architecture from Sumo Logic. What we do is we have basically two basic method of ingesting the data into Sumo Logic. If you see in the middle, Sumo Logic is a pure true SaaS solution. So there's nothing like, you can have a local instance of Sumo which can be installed anywhere, your private or a public cloud. We provide you an instance, and it's sitting in the middle. And if you talk about the collection mechanism, there are two methods. One is your install collector, which is on the left. The install collector is basically your a small agent which will be running on your EC2 instances, VMs, or any of the devices on premises or on cloud, which where you can install the agent and then get data collected and send it to Sumo Logic. There are again, if you see on the left hand side, bottom of the screen, there is a centralized collection also can happen. If you have an InfoSec issue, you can have a centralized collection happen for your, say, syslog set of data, or multiple other distributed devices, and collected in a one single place where the collector is installed, and then send it to Sumo Logic over the HTTPS port. Now you talk about over the internet, of course. So, and if you talk about the hosted way of collection, here, of course, you don't have to install any collector. The way it collects is for most of the environment like AWS, my Azure, Google Cloud, we have simplified the solution. We have very well documented method of collection as well, where we provide you, say in case of AWS, we can provide you a template like a CloudFormation template, which can be deployed to with few clicks. You can just deploy IAM roles and get the data collected from say AWS S3 or CloudWatch or Kinesis Firehose. The multiple ways you can collect from AWS. Similar to that from Azure as well, or Google Cloud Platform, you can use a documented set of method where you can use some template to get the data into Sumo Logic without having installed a collector or any agent on these platforms specifically. And then we talk about a couple of cloud to cloud connector, which you see on the right hand bottom of the screen, where multiple ways where we have we uses API based integration and get the data directly from your SaaS based provider, something like your Microsoft 365 or Google Workspace, Salesforce, or any of those solution in the environment. Most importantly, what you need to understand is we don't leave you your data anywhere, whether it's a legacy on premises or a data center based kind of a platform, or you are on a most advanced cloud based platform. We have the collection mechanism. We have the mechanism to collect the data from these sources and send it to Sumo Logic. Talking about the most modern way of managing the microservices, the Docker container, whether it's a managed or managed environment like EKS, GKE, or AKS, you can use those also. We have something like a Helm chart, which is available, which can be used for using the open source based collection from your Kubernetes environment as well. We also provide you open telemetry based collection for your applications, because we also have application observability, or the operational analytics kind of use cases, which can be used for your application monitoring or performance monitoring as well. So with that, let me stop this and jump directly to my demonstration system and show you how we can use it. So I'll take an example of a scenario where somebody look into different somebody like a SOC engineer, which is who is getting a message on his Slack, and we have a lot of integration built in. We have a ServiceNow ticketing integration or a Jira ticketing integration, and we also provide you the webhook based integration method, which can be used for alerting and notification. Basically, we'll see that into our demo. But now, if you see this is a Slack based integration where somebody is getting a message like this, and it shows that this is a correlated event which is because of which then this notification came up to an on-call SOC engineer, where it says in a description that this is an IP multiple failed attempt by a single IP which has happened, and then it is a snot defined Trojan detection with a high malicious confidence from the CrowdStrike. Now, this event itself is a form of kind of a correlated event which uses our core CrowdStrike inbuilt integration, and also it has multiple other events related to it, which will be triggering this kind of a Slack alert. Now, this person have multiple choices to do. He can either quickly go ahead and take an action to abort this or separate this particular host which is getting affected, or he can go to a dashboard. Ideally, one has to look into to do the troubleshooting. He'll look into the dashboard, and once he click on the dashboard of it will take directly to the Sumo Logic login for him. Once he or she sees that this dashboard is an investigation response quick dashboard, which will provide you a lot of insight. First, it will provide that there is something going on in as a CPU, network and CPU activities, host CPU activities going high at certain point of time, at which time this event has happened. Then you can see that there's a lot of events is happening for the network side. Then we talk about Mapbox integration. This is also very important and interesting in integration, which we have out of the box, which provide you a couple of facts. When we talk about here specifically to give you the geo summary for the AZs. Now, what it gives you, this integration will give you the fact that where the people are logging, where what is happening. So in terms of security analytics, a person can understand that whether there are a lot of admin or the users which are not part of the organization or which is not supposed to log in from one particular geography, how it is showing up here. It's a very pretty kind of interesting view where you can go ahead deep into the street level kind of a view as well, and it give you more details about where the things are. And to expand more, it can go and click on the show in the search, and it can give you more insight. I'll not touch upon that right now. What I'm going to do it for the threat intelligence, threat in this scenario which has happened, for which the log came in, it has to go ahead and see into multiple other panels of this dashboard and look into what is happening. At the same time, if you see, there's an outlier which I was talking about. This outlier is the print triangle, which is showing that there is something abnormal happening, especially for this particular panel. It's saying authentication attempts for the AZ's range. And the pink shaded area which you're seeing, it's basically the normal range, which is happening by our machine learning, so unsupervised machine learning, which identified that this is a normal scenario. But anything above and beyond, is if it is happening, it is showing that there are 33 attempts, or sometime back it was 31 attempts, which is happening, which is not a normal at this particular time of the day or the time of the week, right? So that shows you that is in last 15 minutes this kind of activities is happening. Now, talking about indicators of compromise, again, this is coming from our integration with a threat intelligence platform, which shows that there are a couple of high malicious confidence activities which is happening, and then the bifurcation of the same is coming up. We'll come back to this later, but when at the same time, it will also see the breakdown of the resources, from where things are, which part of the your sources from where the malicious activities are happening. Now going down, if you see, there is a IP anomalies, which is the one of the event, which part of the event which has been received by this SOC engineer. You can see that there is a one particular IP for by which the this authentication attempts are happening, and there's a IP anomalies also happening. You can make a mind map of this IP and then look further into this dashboard. Now, some of the important dashboard, just to give you an idea that there's a data exfiltration is happening, and now this person knows that there's no much access given to the outside world, specifically for the databases, and he can see, he or she can see that there are multiple resources which are linked to the data exfiltration which is happening. Going forward, if he or she can also see that compare this activity, data exfiltration and activities are happening compared to last week, which is definitely have substantially high compared to the last week data. So now if you go ahead and look into more detail, there is also a map box integration where you can see that there is a indicator of compromise and the activities are happening in multiple geographies. Now this will be quickly a person can see that where people are logging, what is happening, why these activities are happening in some certain part of the geography itself. And by looking at it, he or she can simply see that if there is no admin access or the admin role or user itself is there by his known enterprise organization, why the things are happening in these areas, right? So once he looks into that, it will quickly understand that there is something wrong obviously happening. Going to the right of this particular panel, you can see the same IP for which the multiple authentication attempt is happening. You can see that this is also a part of a threat actor by name of Fancy Bear, which is a kind of a threat actor identified by CrowdStrike database. Now, what this person can go deep into get into the root causes is by looking into the logs. Now, most important part about the platform from Sumo Logic is once he has seen these things in the metric view, he can also look into going towards the log view of the same. Now, once he clicks on that particular panel, and he can bring this particular panel into the search and the queries. Now this, of course, panel is built by this particular long query, which is also, if you can go deeper, we can understand that. But what it is showing is the last 15 minutes, this kind of activities is happening by this on this particular IP, which has authentication failure or failed SU kind of attempts, which is going on. Now, to look deeper into this particular look deeper into this particular issue, what a person can do is he or she can simply just go and probably just make a copy of this particular IP from here, from this particular panel, and try to search it for that what is going on into the environment. So if I just copy this and click back on to this particular panel, hold on for a second. Yeah, so if I go back here, and what he or she can do is he can just remove this all query and see that just go ahead and remove all this parsing statement and try to run this query again and see that what is happening into the environment, why how many times and how many authentication failure or those kind of attempts is happening on this particular source category. Source category is a basic metadata tags which is added to the for the sources which has been ingested into Sumo Logic, from where basically your data is coming from. So to make it more clear that what is happening, and the person can go and look into the logs surrounding 10 minutes before and after this event has happened. So what it gives is, it gives you a lot of logs to understand that on this particular source category what is basically happening. So if I look into this and just search for this particular IP for which in this particular event has happened, he or she can just simply go ahead and click on, say, I'll do it one more time and just run it once again and look for this particular IP for this particular range, and probably then you get it that where the things are happening wrong. Probably doing from here and look into this. Okay, so if I'll just try to look into in this source this particular source category and look just for this particular IP, that what kind of activity is happening in the environment for last say 10 minutes or 10-15 minutes across this organization or across this particular source category. So if I'll just click on this, well, give me 1 second more. I'll just click on the IP. Okay. Just let me copy it again and then try to look into this IP range again. Yeah, let me just try it from here again. Yeah, so if I'll just try to look for this IP into this particular query and say that, okay, show me all the messages for this particular IP into this particular source category, it will give you all the related activities which is happening for this particular IP. And if I want to look into the surrounding messages for say 10 minutes before and after the event has happened, I'll get that all the details about this particular IP on this particular source category. Now what is happening is, sorry for the glitches, if you see this, there are around 219 messages in last say half an hour time period for this particular IP, which has been seen as doing some malicious activity. And what is happening is you can quickly see that there are around 219 messages, but in the real world, in the real time, you see there are multiple such occasion where you have a hundred thousands of messages just for if some kind of attacks like this happens. And you can simply see that there are 9 pages for which this particular IP is having a lot of activities happening around. For a normal human being, it's not easy to go ahead and look into 9 pages and get into the root causes faster and get into the reading each and every log messages and understand that what is happening around this particular the one particular source category for this particular IP attack which is happening. Now what he or she can do is he can simply click on the log reduce button. Log reduce and log compare are the two operators which Sumo Logic has, which again is a unsupervised machine learning, which basically what it does is compare the data. So it compares the data with it compares each and every log messages and gives you the detail of what is happening into the environment. So it gives you the understanding of it basically compares each and every messages, say 219 messages in this case, and compare it can give you that comparison saying that, okay, out of this 290, 50 messages are of this kind. And if whatever you see in the star are the variables, right? So doing the troubleshooting, the person knows that I'm not interested in the more number of messages because this is a general one. These are generally you see. So what he or she may be interested is to understand by doing the ascending order. He or she can see that there are few messages which is happening only one time or 2 times. And with the log reduce, it has just grouped those messages based on the signatures. And then he or she can see that this particular IP has been given by just going into and having a close look onto these messages. He can simply identify that there is one message of this kind which is showing that this there's a public key access has been given to this IP over this port by your security provider or security cell tool, which has created this particular IP anomaly and issues of authentication attempts which has been happening. And that might be a reason for this particular kind of issues which has triggered the alert to them. Now what is happening is, if you have a close look onto this and look into this particular platform, again, what is happening is your 9 pages or 219 messages has been concised and get into one single page. Now this makes a person's life much easier, because now you don't have to worry about what is happening in what how you have to go ahead and look into all these 219 messages and get into the root causes. Now it is just made the life easier for this person of an Alcon engineer or say a level 1 analyst who is just looking into the Slack message and try to understand that what can be the possible reason. Now this has given the quick root cause. To do more granular analysis, to go more little bit deeper and make this may be the probable issue, we also have one more operator which is called log compare. Using that, you can all actually go ahead and compare these message between the time difference. So what it is doing is the same source category, same place, if it compares between the say 45 minutes or whatever range you choose, versus the time range which this activities happened, right? So if I run a log compare with a log compare operator for the 45-minute difference, it will again do a kind of a grouping of these messages. And what it gives you as a result is it gives you the percentage increase or percentage decrease for the number of messages which has been grouped earlier. So like log reduce, it will group the messages and tell you that this kind of message, say 50 messages of this kind, has just 6.5 or 6.6% reduction for compared to 45 minutes back. And again, I'm not being a doing a troubleshooting, I'm not interested more in terms of why the more number of messages versus less number of messages. What I'm interested in is knowing that why the particular then 1 or 2 times the logs which has just came, and which is probably the issue also, has been increased or decreased over a period of time. So I can quickly go ahead and look into more details about this particular issue. And we also can see that there are some messages which is earlier there and it is not there anymore. So these operators generally, what it does is give a lot of benefit in terms of understanding and getting into the root causes faster, and getting into I'll say scenario where you don't have to involve much and you have to take quick actions, especially in the security threat kind of a scenario. It's much easier and faster to get into root causes first of all, and then get into understanding that what is happening into the environment, what is going wrong. With this, you can quickly get into the root causes, and easy way of getting into looking into the logs and get into the probably reducing your mean time, reducing your identification time itself, right? Some of the couple of more features in terms of integration which we had just talked about with Sumo Logic, as I told you, we have a specific we have around 280 plus out of the box application. Now this application, as I said, is a collection of out of the box dashboards, queries and alerts, which can be quickly used once you have, say, your this data ingested in. So we have well documented method of getting the data first into Sumo Logic, and once the data is there, you can just add it to library, and is this kind of a dashboard alerts query which is out of the box for particular kind of a scenario, which can be installed into your environment, your instance, and you can quickly get the benefit. You can get to see the preview, and then once you install it, you can see this kind of dashboard quickly available for you for the set of data which you have ingested, right? So especially if I'll be showing right now, what I'm showing is for CloudTrail, you can see the console logins, authentication failure, etc. for the security use cases, especially. If I see that we have specifically on compliance and security, more than I think around 50 plus apps, which I remember from the last week, or maybe around 80 plus, which is available out of the box, which can be readily used by your organization once you ingest the data into Sumo Logic, and these are specifically built for security. Similar to that, of course, we have multiple other scenarios which you have some of the webinars coming in. We can, if you're interested, you can just register and look into. But we have operational analytics, or say DevOps kind of a scenario for which these apps are available and can be utilized from Sumo Logic. These apps are built by Sumo Logic, managed by Sumo Logic, and most of them are freely available to use for your by your organization. Let me then go back to my presentation, and then go back to the questions. Look into your questions and see if there is any which I can check and answer you. Okay, I've seen there's a question around what kind of ML and AI algorithm is used. So it's very internal. What we generally use is I can get back to you from our product engineering team that what kind of if you have any further question, we will give you we can give you in terms of what kind of a detailed specific algorithm which has been used. But what it does is basically it uses both structured and unstructured data, or semi-structured data, and it can be this can be used over the it uses your machine learning, which is both supervised and unsupervised. So if you have the sense of data which you can train it later on, you can definitely do that. Otherwise it works as I shown you on the log reduce and log compare, which can be used just to understand the way the data has been flown into Sumo Logic from your systems, and understand that behavior, understand using what kind of activities is going on. Next question is supervised. Okay, that's a question I didn't read it before. It uses both. It uses all three set of scenario, both supervised and supervised, as well as deep learning. Yes, correct. So that's thanks for that question again. Does Sumo Logic support custom log sources? Yes, very much. If you have any specific one, you can send it to us into sales@sumologic.com. We can look into any specific one, but as you've seen in my slide, that we don't restrict you to send the data from any of your platform, whether it's a legacy platform, your data into your structured, unstructured, semi-structured, on your Kubernetes or your microservices environment, on your on-premises data environment, or on your say CloudTrail data, your data on your AWS or GCP environment. We can collect the data, and we have a very well documented method for most of it. Even if you have a data is residing in one of the any storage system, and then you want to get to analyze it, you can ingest it to Sumo Logic with various method available, and then get into look into it to have deeper analysis and build insight on it itself. Next question is, are the extension plugins supported for the collector? Extension plugin supported for example, if I wish to add IP geolocation metadata on an event based say IP address for comparison, Elasticsearch or Logstash, ISS plugin architecture. I'm not sure if I understand it correctly, but if you were asking about enriching the data set, enriching it for geolocation, it's already there. We provide you Mapbox integration, which is out of the box, so you don't have to build or add any more geolocation kind of a tag, which is out of the box. You don't have to pay anything extra on that as well. These can be used because we have this close integration with Mapbox, or as I shown you in the for whatever data based on IP, or it will search in the database of Mapbox to show you that where the users are, where the IOC kind of activities are happening, and many multiple use cases you can build upon it. Meta extent, and you can also add, if you have the built-in database where you have done some kind of a integration already, we can utilize that as well. The enrichment can be done on your data, whatever you have already done it as well. Okay, so you said for comparison of Elasticsearch and Logstash ECS plugin architecture. See, we have a very simple architecture as I shown you. We have a basic two ways of collecting the data. One is a agent based, and one is agentless. Agent based, where we call it install collector, where the plugin is not plugin. I'll say it's a simple agent or a log forwarder is installed on your machines, and then it send the data over the secure internet. Second is the hosted collector, where you something like your GCP environment, your AWS environment, your CloudTrail data, your data for your say GuardDuty, VPC Flow, various other systems. We provide you say for some templates, like for AWS we provide you CloudFormation template, which have a read access kind of IAM permission, which can go and read the data and send it to Sumo Logic. Okay, and no, I'm not sure why you're saying somebody's saying your Q&A chat is disabled. If you want to put any kind of a question, use the Q&A box, not a chat box. Chat is generally for the live webinar is not available. So whoever is facing the issue in terms of posting his or question, please use a Q&A box. I can see a lot of Q&A questions coming in. Then I can see again the question from this, for example, I want to add metadata on whether IP is for a node, a VPN node currently not present in the default Sumo Logic geolocation implementation. We can talk about it. If you have any, we can talk about what the challenge you are facing. Please write it to us. We'll have a look onto it. We can talk about your specific use case, but I don't see, you can always add a metadata tag. We have a few out of the box, which is added to your source already for the standard kind of environment. But if you have any specific one, we can always work with you to get into the right kind of a data and how to enrich it and get it more details about it. We can always use the Mapbox integration, the threat intelligence correlation, to get about the threat level of that particular your IP or your anomalies, or as well the geolocation tagging as well. So all this is very much possible. Then I can see the question here. Are there any open source tools such as TI, IP, URL, etc., integrated to enrich the data for good analysis? I don't understand much about it. What is the use case? If you can just elaborate more on that, why you need it, because the way you do it in the Sumo Logic itself will give you much better, deeper and insight about it. Once you have we for the threat intelligence, if I talk about it, it do specifically we have integration with the CrowdStrike, which your IP based threat intelligence correlation, your URL based threat intelligence correlation, and domain based threat intelligence correlation. So multiple ways you can have a look into, and it gives you a lot of insight and data about it. Coming to the specific integration, or as I talked about it, the 400 plus out of the box integration we generally have these very much available from out of the box, which for which you don't have to really worry about how things are been managed, because most of the time whatever you're trying to build or trying to do is available out of the box using our app catalog and the apps available. And these are all industry based on our 2500 plus and growing customer base, who are posting their questions, posting their queries like you. And we are already built these apps and integration which can help you to fasten your implementation time, rather than reinventing and doing things yourself. So pretty much straightforward and out of the box contents are available. But as I said, if you have any specific need, any specific questions, please post it to us. We can have a look into specific scenarios and your use cases, and we can definitely help you out to build your integration and any kind of scenario based questions or any specific use case to cater your needs. Yeah. So I don't see any more question. I'll keep it for a few more seconds to check it if you have any. Otherwise, we can, just close the session for the day, and then meet it again sometime once you have another session like this. Okay, folks. So thank you very much for joining today. I don't see any more questions here. Let's yeah, I've already posted this use our public Slack channel to post your join this public Slack channel, or reach out directly to us at sales@sumologic.com for any further queries. And you can sign up for trials and look into start your ingestion, do some kind of send some data to Sumo Logic and get it, see how it works, do some kind of testing over there, and we can get connected sometime to get into your specific use case as we talked about. Thank you so much. We're happy to meet you there. Have a nice rest of the day, rest of the week. Thank you.